Waukesha County investigators had examined the death of Lynn Hernan as best they could. Her isolation made it difficult, and police were careful not to rush to judgment. The case remained open because of questions about it being a suicide or accidental overdose. An autopsy report would provide answers to close the case, and police were not the only ones waiting for the report.
Jesse was very, very interested in the results of the autopsy and the results of the toxicology in this case.
Did Jesse give a reason for this major interest in Lynn's autopsy report?
She wanted the cause of death really to see if maybe a hospital or a doctor missed something, almost as if she was setting up possible litigation. Is there somebody, we can hold responsible for maybe missing a medical issue with Lynn?
Jesse's constant phone calls put investigators on alert. They began to question her financial motives in the death of Lynn Hernan.
When we started looking through the estate documents of Lynn Hernan, because Jesse was named the personal representative, we noticed she had 20 or so credit card accounts, a large amount, I'm talking thousands of dollars of debt owed to these credit card companies. And so those closest to Lynn knew that didn't sound right, didn't sound like Lynn.
According to the few who managed to remain close to Lynn Hernan in her final years, she began to notice money was missing from her accounts.
Lynn was becoming suspicious. She would say to people that she didn't know what was happening to her money, but we know that her money was leaving her account in ways she didn't understand and that she was not responsible for.
While financial experts conducted a forensic exam of Lynn Hernan's bank account, the medical examiner's office submitted the autopsy report, and it was eye-opening to say the least. So what was it in the toxicology report that changed the entire investigation?
The toxicology that came in listed a lot of different controlled substances, but the anomaly in the toxicology was the tetrahydrozoline. Tetrahydrozoline is the active ingredient in eye drops.
The medical examiner informed detectives that if someone ingested large amounts of eye drop medicine like Visine, it could be fatal. And Lynn Hernan had extreme levels of the drug in her body, far beyond what could be construed as accidental.
When it's ingested orally, and those effects can include death, but they can also include a willingness to comply with things that maybe you wouldn't otherwise do.
Investigators considered one last remote possibility that Lynn had consumed the eye drops as a way to end her own life. They discovered the effects were anything but quick.
In talking with our medical examiner and a toxicologist, you quickly realize that this is not a method somebody who wants to end their own life is going to choose. It's a terribly painful, agonizing way to go. You might get very, very sick and then be rushed to a hospital and get medical treatment. So that was a big part of why I was convinced she was poisoned, as opposed to doing this to herself.
Police were now convinced that Lynn Hernan was murdered, and they could make a case.
And so that was a huge red flag to her that really prompted to talk to both the sheriff's detectives and the district attorney's office of this is not a suicide, and really sort of kicked off the homicide investigation.
Detectives suspected that someone who had access to Lynn would be the first place to look, but they needed evidence of a crime and not just suspicions. They focused their investigation on Jesse Kershevsky.
Obviously, me and you are going to disagree because you're looking at me and you feel that I did this. I understand that, and I get what you're saying, but I didn't. And you don't know Lynn, you don't know the situation, and I'm telling you from somebody who does. I get you're a cop, you investigate, I understand that. But I didn't kill her. Kill her. Kill her.
The sheriff's department asked the medical examiner's office to stop talking with Jesse Kershevsky about Lynn Hernan and forward any further inquiries to them. And ultimately she comes to the sheriff's department, and investigators did not share what the actual cause of death was. It appeared to me to be Jesse trying to find out what investigators knew and find out what was in that toxicology.
Police had no concrete evidence against anyone in the poisoning of Lynn Hernan, but they were beginning to suspect Jesse had been fleecing the victim for months and possibly even years. They decided to lay a trap for Jesse.
So when they laid the trap, did they reveal that Lynn had been poisoned? And if they did, how did Jesse react?
She's finally told that there was tetrahydrozoline in the toxicology, and Jesse feigns confusion. How could eye drops kill someone? I don't understand. And ultimately decides to tell detectives, okay, Lynn Hernan was suicidal. She was doing anything she could to kill herself. And her story turns into, oh yeah, Lynn was drinking Visine all the time.
Once Jesse began to open up to detectives, the narrative of how Lynn died completely changed.
She was drinking it to kill herself. I knew that there was 6 bottles of Visine in that water bottle. And I didn't want to give it to her, and we fought about it for an hour. But ultimately, it was up to her, it was her life, so I gave it to her and I left. And when I came back, she was unresponsive.
Police now knew that there was a financial incentive to Lynn Hernan's murder, and Jesse's changing story was more evidence that she was complicit in the theft and the death of Lynn.
It really is like a horror story, and she resorted to murder to cover her tracks.